The songwriter of that song, I don't know who she is, but she's an amazing songwriter. There's a line in that song that says, "You have made me one with you, and this has always been true." This perfect union, it transcends America. This perfect union, it transcends your neighborhood. This perfect union goes across the waters. This perfect union is true for every single soul in this world. We all belong to God. We are all His. It's when we believe that that is just for America when it becomes a problem. Because it's not. You think God is that small? That He's only looking after a certain people? God is too big for that. God is too loving. God is too wide. God is beyond what we can fathom. And this perfect union preached here at this church belongs to everyone. That is all of our identity. Somebody say, God is too big. We give it up for this songwriter, for this band, for these singers, for Tania. You guys did an amazing job. Beautiful song. Thank you for writing songs that align with the heart of God. And soon it will be shareable, and we'll be able to share it across the world to our friends and loved ones and whoever we feel needs to hear this. Good morning, church. Y'all doing all right? Y'all sure? Y'all good? Look at your neighbor, say, I'm doing just fine. For those of you that don't like to look at your neighbor, don't look at your neighbor then. I'm not making you. It's not mandatory. Just want some togetherness in the house because God is good. She don't want to look at you. That's all right. That's all right. She's saying, nah, I didn't want to. It's all right. Listen, I'm excited to be before you this morning. I'm excited to be a part of this series. This series has been amazing. What do y'all think? Y'all think it's been great? Julia did a beautiful job last week at giving us her perspective in the word on this series called Release. Somebody say release. Release. What we're unpacking here is forgiveness and the practice of it, right? I believe forgiveness is one of the most misunderstood and misrepresented practices in our faith. Can I share with y'all why I believe that? Somebody say release. Forgiveness can be one of the most misunderstood and misrepresented practices in our faith. We hear it preached, we hear it quoted, it's even demanded of us at times. But I think it's important for us to kind of slow down and pull back and say, what is forgiveness really? And sometimes if we're not able to really understand what forgiveness really is, we can risk carrying distorted ideas that may keep us bound instead of actually setting us free. Somebody say forgiveness. Yeah, forgiveness. We hear this word all the time. When tragedy strikes, when something happens to us, when abuse happens, when unfair treatment happens, when unjust things happen, there's often this luring quickness that we have to think that people should just forgive right away. And it's demanded of people, and it's demanded of you in certain personal situations. And let's be honest, forgiveness, the process of it is not that easy. It isn't something you just verbalize and now it's done. It isn't something that comes 24 hours after the strike hit. 24 hours, forgiveness is a process. It's not just something you say and we just move on from the situation. Anybody follow me in here? You ever been demanded to give forgiveness and your body is like, nah, I'm not ready yet. I can't even fix my mouth to say, yeah, I forgive you. I haven't processed the situation fully yet. Like, I don't know if you understand the totality of what has been done, and you're asking me to forgive you this soon. Forgiveness. Forgiveness is a process, and there's no time on forgiveness. There's no hours on forgiveness. There's no weeks on forgiveness. It really is a process. It really does take some time to fully understand what it is that you're even forgiving. It takes time to really fully understand and name the pain, the hurt, and fully understand what's really going on in your mind and in your body to fully be able to release and say, you know what, I forgive you. Somebody say forgiveness. It is a process. Would you agree with that? That it's a process. It's not just an easy practice. It's not something that we just say, oh yeah, I forgive you. Don't worry about it. It's nothing. It's not that easy. It's not that easy. So today I want to walk us through what forgiveness really means, so that we can live out this sacred practice in a way that honors God, but not only that, but in a way that protects our wholeness and our humanity. Forgiveness is a practice. It's not just a word. Forgiveness is a practice. Forgiveness is something that you have to really work through and understand so that you're able to really fully and genuinely and 100% give that forgiveness. Somebody say it's a process. I might get tired of me this morning. So I want to point to a very familiar story in the Bible. There was two brothers that had an issue. Their name was Jacob and Esau. Y'all familiar with their situation? For those of you that's not familiar with their situation, let me give y'all a brief summary of what's going on. Jacob and Esau are brothers. Jacob is a younger brother. Esau is an older brother. And Jacob tricked Esau into giving him his birthright. Not only that, Jacob collaborated with his mom, their mom, to trick him into giving his birthright. Not only that, the mother collaborated with Jacob to fool their dad Isaac into making him think that Jacob was Esau so that he can take the birthright. Can you imagine when Esau found this out, how angry he could have been? I'm talking about ticked off. He's done. He's angry. He's ready to go blow for blow with Jacob, because do you realize what you just took from me? Something that is supposed to come to the elder brother. You just messed up the whole lineage. Like, are you crazy? Esau was furious when he found this out, and Jacob ran and went to his uncle's house. And for years, Jacob and Esau never came face to face with each other. For years, this betrayal, this deceit, this distance is in between these two brothers who once, I imagine, got along and was cool and they was good. I can only imagine my boys Zay and Malachi, and this happens, and the distance and the deceit and the betrayal between them two. And, they fight sometimes, but they're really good brothers. But I can only imagine that relationship being torn apart because of what someone had done. Esau is mad. Jacob runs to his uncle's house, and for years they never talk to each other. Because the truth is, when somebody wronged you, they avoid you. They know they did you wrong. They in your stories on Instagram. They on your page. They know where you at, and they think you don't know where they at. They saw you at the grocery store. They saw you go in the produce entry, and they came out the home entry. They saw you. They saw you. They saw you at the gas station. They made sure they hide behind the pump because they know that they've done you wrong, and they expend all of their energy trying to avoid you. Yeah, this is Jacob. Jacob knew exactly what he did. He knew the weight of what he did. He knew that this was something that you can't just get over in 24 hours. You can't just get over in a few weeks. He knew for a fact Esau got some problems with me, and I have to get out of here because I'm not going to be able to withstand the weight and the heat that's going to come upon me if Esau ever gets close to me. Jacob is running. He's at his uncle's house. I don't know how far his uncle's house was, but he was gone. And for years, I don't know if he even stayed at his uncle's house this whole time. He was gone for years. So that's a brief summary of where we're at. So we're going to catch it up at Genesis 33 and verse 3. And this is when they finally come face to face. Verse 3 says, then Jacob went ahead as he approached his brother. Now you can imagine, he's getting ready to see Esau after a long time. He is anticipating Esau's anger. He is anticipating smoke with Esau. He is anticipating Esau to throw the first punch. He is anticipating Esau ready to go to war. He is anticipating anything that may come with this because he knows exactly what he has done. I have wronged my brother to the 10th degree. This is heavy. And so he is anticipating this. So Jacob don't just come by himself. He comes with his family. He comes with his homies. He comes with gifts. He comes with his herd, his flocks. He comes with money. He comes with everything as a gift to his brother because I know that I have wronged you. And right here in verse 3, it says, then Jacob went ahead, and as he approached his brother, he bowed to the ground 7 times before him. Verse 4, then Esau ran to meet him and embraced him, threw his arm around his neck and kissed him, and they both wept. They both cried. There was this moment where it flipped everything on its head because Jacob had been playing this scene over and over in his head, and it did not look like this. It did not look like this. Esau had every right to go off on Jacob. Esau had every right to knock his head off his shoulders. Esau had every right to go at Jacob because of what he done, and Jacob knew this. So Jacob came scared but apologetic. Jacob came with courage because it takes courage to face the person that you wrong. I mean, you just spend a lot of energy trying to avoid them. Now you getting ready to see them. It takes a lot of courage to be able to see them face to face. But he came very apologetic and fearful and just can only imagine what this meeting is going to be like. And Esau meets him with an embrace. He meets him with love. He meets him with a kiss. He meets him crying, and they're having this very emotional moment. So then I want to jump to verse 8. And right here in verse 8, so Esau sees everything that Jacob came with, and he asked him, he said, and what were all the flocks and the herds that I met as I came? Esau asked. Jacob replied and said, they are a gift, my Lord, to ensure your friendship. To ensure your friendship. Verse 9, Esau says, my brother, I have plenty. Keep what you have for yourself. So in the coming verses, Jacob continues to insist, no, please take what I have for you. Take these gifts because what I've done to you is so wrong. Please take this as an apology. I'm so sorry for what I did. Please take this. Like you can imagine, Jacob probably thinks that Esau has nothing because I took your birthright. So you probably ain't balling like I am. So let me give you what I got. You know what I'm saying? So he said, no, take it. And after insisting so many times, Esau's finally like, all right, cool. I'll take the gift. But it was something in verse 12. It was verse 12 that showed me something about forgiveness. Because remember what I said at the beginning of this is that if we don't really understand what forgiveness is and what it is not, we can walk around with this distorted view of what forgiveness is. And sometimes these distorted views actually perpetuate cycles of us staying in things that we don't need to be in. Verse 12, can we put verse 12 up? Verse 12 tripped me up. So after Jacob had continued to insist on giving him the gift, Esau finally said, okay, cool, I'll take it. Then Esau said something that I did not expect. He said, well, let's be going. I'll lead the way. What? Let's be going where? And why do you want to take me? See, Jacob is off his square now because first of all, you came to me hugging me and kissing me, bro, and you supposed to have smoke with me. Like, that don't even feel right. Now you telling me to go with you? Now, Esau was on his way back to his town. It's now Edom, right? So that's where he was on his way. So after they had this moment, Esau opened himself up and said, well, let's get going. I'll lead the way. Where I'm going, you come with me. Jacob did something really profound. Jacob, in a very dogmatic way, declined the offer. Now, let me tell you how crazy this kind of looks, right? Because Jacob did wrong. Jacob is apologetic. Thank you. Here we go. Check 1, 2. There we go. So let's look at how crazy this situation is. Jacob did Esau wrong. Jacob knows that Esau has an issue with him. So he comes bearing gifts because he's super apologetic and he wants to apologize to his brother for the wrong that he had done. I'm talking about this ain't just, no, I just slapped you and whatever. This is heavy, right? So he comes to him expecting Esau to have an issue with him. He sees Esau. Esau meets him with a hug and a kiss and a moment of forgiveness, and he's showing him love. That's already confusing Jacob. Now we have this moment. You accept my gift. You accept my apology, and now you telling me to go with you? What Kevin Hart say? No. No. This ain't supposed to go this way. This don't feel right. This don't feel... Esau, you playing mind games with me, bruh. You playing mind games, man, because what I did, I know the penalty of what I should get for what I did, and you showing love to me and you telling me to come with you where you going. Yeah. Jacob, he says, you know what? In verse 13, he says, you can see, my Lord, that some of the children are very young and the flocks and the herds, they're young too, and if we drive them too hard, even for one more day, the animals would die. And the coming verses, he keeps on saying, you know what, you go ahead, we'll catch up with you. We'll go ahead and get some rest and we'll develop our own pace on our journey and we'll see you later. Jacob never intended on meeting back up with Esau. Jacob thought it was a setup. Like, this don't feel right. Jacob never planned on seeing Esau later. He never planned on catching up. And Esau was like, all right. And he journeyed on his way. Now, This is crazy to me, and I'm gonna show you where sometimes we misrepresent or we misunderstand forgiveness, right? So Jacob did something very profound, and he declined Esau's offer. I had to go through and figure out why would he decline his offer. To me, on the outside looking in at the situation, he could have thought it was a setup, this don't feel right, or maybe Jacob understood that I'm not ready to live in the shadows of my brother in his town. Because when you've wronged someone and then you've spent time, years trying to avoid them, and you know for a fact that I've broke your trust, it is going to take time to build that trust again. And Esau has already knocked me off my square, and I really think that he has plans for me later if I go with him to his town. So let me not go. So Jacob he may be fearful, he may be confused. Like, this is weird to me because you're telling me to come with you, and it don't seem right. You go ahead. I'll catch up with you. You know how you get on that phone with somebody and y'all have that heart-to-heart conversation, like, all right, I'm gonna call you later. You don't plan on calling them back. This ain't that. We confronted each other. We had forgiveness. We had the conversation, because here's a misconception about forgiveness. Forgiveness does not always mean reconciliation. Or, I'll give a B part to this, reconciliation looks completely different for the two parties in this situation, right? Jacob understood that reconciliation does not necessarily mean we have to merge lives again. And sometimes we teach, preach, and accept forgiveness prematurely, thinking that we have to jump back into a relationship with someone who has caused harm to us. That is not right. It's not healthy. It's not safe. It's not good for your mental. It's not good for your body if it was abuse that you dealt with. It's not good to think that just because someone had a moment and forgave you that it's important for us to get back into a relationship. No, reconciliation sometimes means different things. It looks different ways for different people. For Esau, let's assume that he was genuine in his forgiveness and he really wanted to develop a relationship with his brother that he had not been with for years. Let's assume that that is his position. To Esau, reconciliation looked like togetherness. To Jacob, reconciliation looked like peace without proximity. Because the truth is, in these situations, when someone has hurt you, you hurt me, and depending on the weight of that hurt, of that mistreatment, of that injustice, depending on that, that will determine if a relationship is even necessary after we come face to face. Because reconciliation isn't always a requirement after forgiveness. I would even argue that forgiveness can be given unilaterally, meaning only one side can forgive. The other side may not even be ready for forgiveness. They may not even be ready to forgive if there was a harm on their end as well. Forgiveness can be given one way. And there is no demand, and it shouldn't be no demand for reconciliation afterwards. Right? See, the understanding of this type of forgiveness is understanding that it's not just to honor God, but it's also to protect your wholeness as a human being. It's also to protect your humanity. And sometimes we give or accept forgiveness prematurely without understanding the totality of the situation. And we jump back into harmful situations that never meant us no good in the first place. But because someone had a moment, because we cried, because we had the conversation, now we got to go back to being friends again. That is not so. That is not so. Peace can be maintained without proximity. Healthiness can be maintained without being back in relationship. You can wish the other person well, but I don't have to be with you anymore. I don't. And that doesn't dishonor God. That's me saying, hey, there was a rift in our relationship. Building this trust back is going to take a lot of work, but you know what? Let me honor you well, let me honor God well, and wish you well, but we do not have to be in close proximity any longer. We don't. Reconciliation is not a requirement after forgiveness. So you can only imagine what Jacob felt like when Esau already knocked him off his square and he was wondering what was going on, but not only was he fearful or confused as to what Esau was really up to, but the path of their life was totally different. Some chapters back, there was a promise that God had given Jacob for him to go to Canaan. So if I was to go to Edom, where my brother's going, that would be outside of the original plan that I'm supposed to be doing. So when Jacob said, you go ahead and go and I'll catch up with you, he never intended on going because I got somewhere else to be. And a lot of times, that issue we have in relationships, and then if you're ever afforded the opportunity to come face to face and actually give forgiveness or confront the situation and have a heart-to-heart conversation, whether it be over the phone or face to face, you also have to take into consideration that at this point in our life, we're just on two different paths. Jumping back into a relationship isn't even logical. Because where you're headed in life and where I'm headed in life is just two totally different things. Like, it's just no need for us to even be in relationship. And a lot of times we prematurely accept or give forgiveness and we find ourselves trying to force reconciliation and try to fit niceness and fit a friendship into a mode that it was not supposed to even be in. That's why you tried the relationship a second time and it didn't work. That's why you tried the friendship a second time and it didn't work, because we didn't take into consideration we just on two different paths. Let's respect and honor the paths that we're on. And let's agree to disagree that, hey, we acknowledge the hurt. We acknowledge what happened. Forgiveness was given. I love you and I'll see you when I see you. See, it's this expectation that when we forgive someone, we got to jump back into a relationship with this person. And sometimes that's not always safe. Sometimes that's not healthy. Yeah, forgiveness is holy, but boundaries are too. And everything doesn't have to be done in close proximity. We can part ways and still wish each other well. But we're emotionally mature enough to understand we don't need to be back in a relationship again. And I am okay with that. Amen? It's a quiet room. I'm gonna assume it's in a receptive room too, so y'all hear me. So they got different callings. They're on different paths, right? And forgiveness did happen. They embraced, they had tears, they made peace. But reconciliation doesn't necessarily mean we need to merge our lives again. Jacob knew that he needed the space. And truth be told, I'm sure Esau needed the space too. Like, I get it, bro. But life is just different for us now. Let's be okay with that. Let's address what happened, and let's go ahead and move forward. And it doesn't have to be together. Somebody say forgiveness. Y'all can say it louder. Somebody say forgiveness. So this moment teaches us how powerful forgiveness and boundaries are, because, forgiveness does not erase wisdom. Just because we had the moment, and, we're human. Sometimes we get caught up in the moment, right? The altar call happens. We come up to the front of the church and we crying and snotting and, oh God, and we didn't had the conversation and we crying and we had a hug and everything, but that don't mean y'all both ready to jump back in this thing together. Y'all just had a moment. Y'all just being emotional right now. Go ahead and get your emotions out. Cry. Do whatever you need to do. But let's be emotionally mature about the situation, and let's agree that we need not ever see each other ever again. And that's okay. This moment teaches us that forgiveness and boundaries is powerful and it's necessary. So forgiveness doesn't always mean reconciliation. Am I clear so far? Forgiveness does not always mean permission. Forgiveness is not permission. Forgiveness is not a pass for you to continue the hurt or the harm that you caused me initially. Because people love, the thing about forgiveness in this society and in relationships, sometimes forgiveness can be weaponized and it can be exploited to the degree of we never address the hurt, but I'm demanding the forgiveness because I need to use the forgiveness so I can perpetuate the hurt again. Forgiveness is not a pass to continue what you needed to be forgiven for in the first place. Forgiveness, not today, Satan. Forgiveness is us saying we understand the situation. We are addressing the harm that had happened. We are addressing the hurt that took place. We are addressing where we are right now in this situation. That is what forgiveness is. This does not mean that you get to come back in and do all of that stuff all over again, because you got to be careful, because some people are not emotionally mature enough to understand, hey, I forgive you, but let's keep the space. Some people don't understand that, right? They want to take that forgiveness and, but we cried, but we had the conversation, but we hugged, but we had dinner. That don't mean nothing. It was just forgiveness. It was just us addressing the problem at hand. It was just us addressing what took place. And people who are not emotionally mature enough, they like to take that moment and think that that is the door to come back in. I need you to understand that forgiveness is not an open door to come back in. Forgiveness is addressing what is going on and what's happening and how that made me feel and what that actually did to me. It does not mean we have to prolong this relationship. Somebody say forgiveness. Forgiveness does not mean reconciliation. Forgiveness does not mean permission. And forgiveness does not counsel accountability. Forgiveness You know how often forgiveness is demanded, but we still never deal with the issue? Like, we cool with having a confrontation. You hurt me, this was this, and da, 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 da. But nobody ever really does the work so that this doesn't ever happen again. Right? Because we think forgiveness fixed it. Because we verbally said, I forgive you. Yeah, but there's work that still needs to be done after we address the issue. Forgiveness never counsels accountability. Right? There's still things that we got to dig up from the root. And sometimes that space that you need from that other person is in order for you to do the necessary work that needs to be done. And sometimes you can't do that work if you forgive and then jump right back into the relationship. Forgiveness does not cancel accountability. Yeah, we still got to confront what's actually going on. Right? We still have to address the core of this issue. Somebody say forgiveness. Yeah, we still have to understand that, yes, I forgave you, but there's a reason why this took place. There's a reason why this problem is in between us. There's a reason why you chose to do what you did and I chose to do what I did. There's a reason why this hurt came about. There's a reason, and that is the thing that we have to get to. Forgiveness is just saying it's there. Forgiveness is just saying, you know what, I'm going to release you, or I'm going to release this bitterness from me, from the situation of the hurt that you caused me, but there is still work that needs to be done. Yeah, forgiveness is not just a phrase. Forgiveness is not a moment, and everything is not summed up in that one moment. Yeah, there's work that happens after the moment. Yeah, you may have had the tough conversation. You may have had the letter written. You may have sent the long text message or the email. You may have actually came face to face and had that conversation, but there is still work that needs to take place after that conversation. Amen? Somebody say forgiveness. Some of y'all must be thinking about that one person that you need to forgive, or that some of y'all like, yeah, I didn't got back into a relationship with them and I'm just playing. It's all right. If I'm stepping on your toes, you be all right. So this story, yeah, Drake, I thought Esau approaching Jacob was the thing that flipped me out. It wasn't. And I like tripping people up sometimes. I like doing the thing they didn't expect me to do. Like, I like doing that. Esau did a really good move. It's up in the air whether he was genuine with it. But, for him to be like, yeah, embrace him and stuff like that, like, that's a good move right there. Because it kind of gets your ops on their toes because they don't know what's really going on. But it was Jacob that seemed to have had the emotional intellect to understand, yeah, I can't go where my brother's going. I'm not ready for that. I done broke trust. Like, do y'all understand what I did to this man? Like, I can't go and be in his town where he has ruleship and he has the authority and he knows everybody. Like, I can't do that. This is either a setup or whatever it is, but I'm not going. And the scriptures tell us that he did not go that way. He ended up setting up shop in a whole different other country, a whole different other city. And I think the next time they crossed paths was at their father's funeral. Because Jacob knew, yeah, I can't build that trust back up with him. And I'm not saying trust cannot be built or rebuilt. All I'm saying is it's going to take some time. And don't misunderstand the moment of forgiveness to think that that's the work that needs to be done. Yeah, some of us lay our hat on the moment of forgiveness and we think, phew, I did the work. No, you didn't. Why did you hurt them in the first place? Did you do that work? Why did it hurt you in the first place? Did you do that work? Because if someone else comes into your life again and they show the same flags as a previous person, you got to be emotionally aware of the flags that you see so that you don't find yourself in the same situation. Yeah, we can't hang our hat on the moment of forgiveness where we had the conversation. We actually got to do the work so I can realize, okay, who am I and where am I at now? Yeah, release is important. Forgiveness is important because it's good for the heart. It's good for the heart. It's good to have the closure. It feels good sometimes when people can recognize the hurt that they've caused you and they have the courage to come to you and say, man, what I did to you was wrong, and I want to genuinely apologize for that. And I'm talking about a genuine apology, not the one where you ever get the apology where it says, if I ever did anything to you, I just want to apologize. No, you know exactly what you did to me. If I ever did anything, them be the ones that mess me up. Them be the ones that make me, hey, if you ever, we just gonna generalize the hurt you caused me, and I'm supposed to accept that as an apology? Y'all know what them apologies is like. This that slap on the face. It's the person that really don't want to take accountability for what they did. They just want to say, hey, since we in church, since we in church, you know what I'm saying? Let me just say, if I've ever done anything, you know what you did to me. You know the specifics, the details of the hurt and the harm that you've caused, and you have the audacity to come to me and generalize everything that you've done to me? That's unacceptable. And that's the reason why you can't just get back into friendship with people, because they're not even willing to even take the responsibility for what they did. And you expect us to go to coffee after this? No. Somebody say, that is not how this works. That is not how this works. If you want to apologize, be direct, be specific, and take ownership. I don't know what you said, but I saw you laughing. And take ownership of what you did and what you have done to someone. And I would even encourage you to accept nothing less than that. If they're the ones that need to apologize to you, I wouldn't accept nothing less than someone who is willing to take it. See, accountability takes trust, safety, and willingness on both sides in order for reconciliation to take place. And sometimes it's important for us to realize, okay, you're not willing to take the accountability. Got it. You know what? I forgive you. I'm not even going to be bitter about the situation anymore. I'm not even mad, but I see where you're at in life right now. Hit somebody with this right here, where you stand and you got your hands together like this. I see where you at right now. And I see that you're not ready to really accept and take accountability for what you've done. I love you. I forgive you, but be gone. Do that one time, Dean. Just stand like that one time. Be gone. It's all right. You see how forgiveness can sometimes be misrepresented and misunderstood? Forgiveness is the moment of understanding and the moment of acknowledging what had took place. But there is still work that needs to be done even after forgiveness has taken place. And don't allow anyone to demand forgiveness from you if you're not ready for it yet. Don't allow anyone to demand forgiveness from you and you're not ready for it yet. Because I would even argue that if they are demanding it, they're willing to use that forgiveness against you. Do not allow anyone to demand forgiveness from you and you are not ready for it yet. Somebody say forgiveness. Tim, you can come on out. I'm done. I should have called you out here a little bit earlier, but I'm gonna let Corey come on up because I'm finished. I love y'all.
Man, sometimes, you know what sucks about having so many speakers in this house is as a pastor, you're sitting there and you're all quiet, not giving him the feedback he needs because I'm processing. And Shanik and I looked over, or Shanik looked at me and he said a name, and that was the same name I was thinking about. Dang it. You know, like, as church leaders, we don't want to confuse you that we have all this stuff figured out. Like, we're in process too. I hope you see the humanity, even the belief and the process of a relationship with Jesus. Like, there is a process to this, and your process is seen and your process is okay. Like, wherever you're at, hopefully you find safety and freedom here to begin this journey. Seriously, begin this journey. We have, because we recognize this, we have a whole wing of counseling for you to begin that process. If you're sitting there and you're thinking somebody, I'm going, Linda, we got an appointment this week. You and me, I got some stuff to say to you. Not about you, to you. You need to help me process this. Counselor, go and see a counselor. But this is what we're here for, y'all. Like we're not here for you just to check church off the list of things you think you should do. Like we're here for community, to build, to grow, to challenge. Man, I was challenged. I was quiet, D, because I'm challenged today. I'm gonna go home and have a conversation with my wife again. And then I'm gonna call Shannick, and then I'm gonna be like, I don't wanna listen to D right now, because I like sitting in this pity party of shame and madness, you know what I mean? Like this is real life. And we don't wanna be a church that just sugarcoats stuff. We wanna be a place where you can find freedom and begin that journey in a healthy way, to forgiving, to creating peace in your life, because we worship the Prince of Peace. Amen. Amen. Man, that was good, D. It was not good, but it was good. You know what I mean? Man, release. It was good stuff. Hey, next week we start a brand new series in October, the whole month of October. The team got together, and I've never since I became teaching pastor 3 years ago, I've never preached 4 weeks straight in a row, and I'm not looking forward to it, but I'm preaching 4 straight weeks in a row around this idea of reframing a lot of things that many people in the church think are true, but actually aren't. Whew. Spicy Ricey's gonna be here next week. If you're gonna miss it, hey, no shame if you miss any of the weeks, but you should check it out on YouTube or whatnot, Facebook, wherever we show videos. We don't do it on Facebook, but hey, it's not to just provoke thought, it's to gain conversation within the body of Christ, to start talking about some stuff and taking some responsibility. So church, you're amazing, you're loved, and there's nothing you can do about it. We'll see you next week.